Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I am Gerry, Max, and Terry. This little pyramid formation, and guys, we actually we're gonna do a match preview because matches resume for us next Tuesday. That's a thing. However, it's Cardiff. I don't know what to make of Cardiff at the moment. Because the thinking is, the immediate knee-jerk thinking is, oh, we're playing Cardiff. That's a good one to go back to, right? We've been playing pretty awful. That's a good one to go back to. However, they're not playing too poorly lately, so that's a thing. However, they are still 17th in the table. They're 7, 4, and 15 with 25 points. They're 1 point off the relegation zone. They've won 2 in a row though.
Yeah.
They play Watford this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But they recently beat Southampton 2-1 and Bournemouth 2-0. Before that, they lost to Arsenal 2-1. These are not ridiculous results, and it does seem like Neil Warnock has a system in place. It is very much his players know his expectations and what he wants. Obviously, their winter signing Nias cannot play against us, so that's a thing. They like to adjust their formation around their opposition, so you'll see them sometimes run a back three, but they probably won't do that against us. I think that you could see them doing a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-4-1-1 against us. I'll talk about the possible lineup in a little bit, but Terry, some opening thoughts about Cardiff.
Biggest game of our season now. It's absolutely massive. I don't think it can be overstated. We've got the amount of home games we've got left, and 5 of them in the top 6. We can't rely on any of those for points. So if we don't beat Cardiff, then we are in serious trouble of getting dragged into that fight at the bottom of the table. It's outrageous that it's even a thing, and we're even thinking about this, but it's the reality. If we lose to Cardiff, I think we're only like 6-7 points away from it. But as I say, we've got 5 games against teams who regularly beat us. And I know the teams down the bottom aren't going to win all of their games, but I'm sure they're going to win a few. And we need to be careful. We keep losing to teams who outwork us. It doesn't matter that we've got better players than Cardiff. We've got loads of players who are better than Cardiff in their opposite number. Doesn't matter. We're better than nearly all of our players are nearly better than every single Southampton player. Probably wouldn't take a single Southampton player, but they worked their arses off and beat us. We need to be up for a fight. We need to be able to go to war and go, right, well, if we win this, we put real daylight between ourselves and the trouble, and then we can relax a little bit and go into the rest of the season and not have that fear. If we lose to Cardiff, though, every game becomes nervous, and the season could turn around on this, in the sense of you beat Cardiff, get a little bit of confidence back, and then you might even, whisper it quietly, beat one of the top 6 sides on in the running, and that wouldn't make it a good season, but something to get behind at the minute, because it's spun off the rails, hasn't it, the season? But this Cardiff game needs to be a win, no question about it. The big players need to turn up. Cardiff are better than people give them credit for, but they're not better than Everton. They need to. We can't let this one turn into another draw or another defeat. We need to win this game.
All right, I'm just going to say that was more grim than I was expecting. It was grimmer. It was grimmer than expecting. And now I'm worried. Not cool, Terry. Not cool.
It wasn't. Sorry.
Not cool, man.
Well,
not cool with your
genuinely
reality.
They've had a long time to prepare for this as well, so you know that they're going to have been practicing set pieces in the build-up to this game. We need to sort our act out, because if we lose to Cardiff, forget it. That'd be 13 defeats, and trust me, if we don't beat Cardiff, we won't beat a single one of those top 6 teams at home as well. So that could end up with a season with 18 defeats. Forget it.
Uh,
Maybe a
uh,
bit too grim dark to go that far, but this game is massive. It could make the difference between finishing mid-table and trying to make something of it. Beat Liverpool and to give yourself a little boost for the end of the season, or affect the title race or whatever. Or it could be you're now in a relegation fight. You hadn't been in one all season, but you got to March, February, and you started to slip down.
all right, so possible lineup: Etheridge, Peltier, Ekwale Mangala, Sol Bamba, Bennett, Gunnarsson, Patterson, who I think played a lot up front until they brought in some up front help. So he's actually been playing on the outside lately. Then you could see Murphy or Hoylett. I believe Murphy, Arter, and Rawls and Reed. Right now, Bobby Reed and Callum Patterson have 4 goals apiece. Murphy's got 3. Sean Morrison, I believe, is out currently. I don't know if I don't think he'll be ready for us, but he's got 3 assists, and Victor Camarasa has got 3 assists as well. There's your danger, man. Max, are we mainly just worried about set pieces at this moment?
Yeah, I'd think so. I mean, Cardiff have pulled off some good results at home this season. I think they beat Wolves at home and they beat Bournemouth at home. Obviously, they were touched by that terrible tragedy with Emiliano Sala, and that's united them more as a club. I remember when I did my opposition view with some guys from View from the Nine, and which are the Cardiff podcast, that they didn't really have high expectations. Obviously, Warnock come in and really bandied together and got them, united them as a group, give them a real feel good factor. But obviously they've come up with very limited expectations. As I mentioned there, they were obviously touched by that tragedy, and it seemed to have they've responded well to that. They've won the last 2 on the bounce, and they're out of the relegation zone now. And if we're not careful, they could sting us too. I think the take to Terry, just add on it, has been exacerbated by the fact that we were beaten by Wolves and we were beaten by Watford, who were otherwise our main contenders in terms of slugging it out for 7th place. Now we're on 33 points and watching over our shoulder for West Ham, etc. So that really doesn't help, and it's really put, I think, a negative slant on our season. This has to be a win, particularly with Liverpool coming up, Arsenal coming up, Chelsea coming up. We've got to pick 3 points up here. If not, we are into a really, really bumpy end to the season, and make no two ways about it, we're gonna have to beat one of these top 6 sides. I think for our own sake, I refuse to make any comment that we're going to be drawn into a relegation battle, because I don't think that's going to be the case. But I think we just need to recover some respectability almost. We've dropped points in some very silly games this season, and this shouldn't be one of them.
Yeah, I feel like we can see how this is going to play out. They're going to be physical, and they're going to be compact. And every single set play, they're going to push their folks up, push their backs up. And, they score often off set pieces anyway. I feel like I see Sol Bamba actually getting in the score sheet every once in a while, which is just, it's just something they do anyway. So I feel like we just know how this is going to go down. We're going to possess the ball a lot. And we are going to sit there and try, and we're going to be patient about it. We're going to be sitting there trying to find the cracks, and we're going to keep, and it's going to be a really frustrating experience. I feel like we just see this coming. I don't know. It's just we're going to see us basically moving down the sides, bombing it. So right now we have to decide, if you were Silva, what are you doing with your time off? You damn well better be practicing set pieces. How can you work on anything else? That and finishing. and getting some more confidence in our players up front. I don't see how you can work on anything else, really. You know?
I mean, we saw for the there was a lot said in the build up to the Manchester City game that the 4-2-3-1, it really wasn't floating the boat, and we had far too many problems with it than it solved. He changed the formation for that City game, went 4-3-3. So that indicates, and the Watford game aside, that indicates to me that he is, he has got his ear raised to some of these problems. Mm-hmm. I'd love, for Cardiff to get their first set piece of the game, and we're not marking fresh air, we're actually marking players. That would be a lovely sight. I don't think it's going to happen so soon, because obviously I think that's a principle that he's going to stick by for the time being. But yeah, we can't be conceding goals from set pieces for the remainder of the season, because there's just going to continue to add the pressure onto it.
All right. We got to do some predictions. Let's start. Terry, what's the score going to be?
I don't know. I 2-1 Everton. Got to win. I think we'll concede. It'll probably be a set piece, but I think we could score more. We've got the players. We have got the attacking players to hurt the Cardiff defence. We just haven't got the defensive players to not concede. So 2-1 for me.
Terry just oozes confidence, doesn't he? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think we'll concede, but we might score more. No, and honestly, what Everton supporter doesn't sound like that right now? Yeah, Max, predict. You've been pretty mystical lately. You've been dropping some accurate predictions. So what do you got?
I was going to say 2-1 myself. I mean, on paper, it should be a formality. It should be a 3-0 or a 4-0, but context included, it's not going to be that easy. It's just not. I can see a 2-1.
I'm going to be an idiot, and I am going to say 1-0 Blues. All right? Here's why. I'm an idiot. All right? We're probably going to concede on a set piece. I don't know. I'm trying to, expect that we actually are working on it in training. I'm really trying to think that we have some actual professionals on our squad, and that our manager and our coaches are actually working on this. So I'm gonna just roll the dice here and say we're actually going to get a clean sheet. All right? And somehow we're gonna get an ugly goal out of nowhere. All right? I just think this is going to just be not a good advertisement for the Premier League, for people who watch this game.
That's the feeling I've got too, and it really shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't. As I said, there should be a formality in favour of Everton, but the way it's going for us, it's just not, and we need to learn how to win ugly. So we take the 3 points any means necessary.
Yeah, and I am good, because we're gonna play squads where we have to win ugly. It's just going to happen sometimes, and if we can start churning out when things aren't necessarily always going our way, that's how you build confidence. And maybe this is just wishful on my and cool, whatever. I'm cool with being a little wishful. I've been negative in my prediction in the past. Right on. All right? So I'll balance it out some. All right? So, all right. 2-1, 2-1, 1-0. We're all predicting victories. We're not being too negative, are we? We could be worse. We could be a lot worse. All right. So, I guess that's it for our Cardiff match preview. We really need 3. Yeah. Of course, things could change between now and Tuesday, so that's why there should be a starting 11 segment. I believe our man Tom is going to be handling that between now and Tuesday. So enjoy that. Yeah, that's it. This is our last video. So you can pop on over to the podcast if you want a feast for the ears, a nice quiz between these two gentlemen. If you know your history, they'll be trying to name the starting 11 of an historical match. So check on that. And if you don't, we'll miss you as always. We always miss you. Gentlemen, that's it for the Cardiff match preview. If you're digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We sincerely appreciate it. If you want more Terry, check his Twitter. He'll tell you when he's going to be on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Also, if you want more Max, check his Twitter. He'll tell you where he's going to be everywhere. And yeah, keep an eye out for him also on the Toffee Blues website. He does analysis there. All right, gents, let's go do a quiz. Also, let's get 3 coming up Tuesday. Bye.